Hey everyone, Dan with HRT, and today we want to show you the budget or poor man's MP7 build. So have you ever wanted to get an MP7? More than likely. But thanks to German import laws and HK and all those different possibilities and issues, you can't get an MP7, or if you can, they're incredibly overpriced. There are options like the Tommy built one, but as you can see, you can jump on that website and they're probably sold out. Palmetto State is working on one, but who knows when, if, all that stuff. So this little conversion kit that we're going to walk through today will get you a cheap to shoot, cheap to build, and at least an enjoyable kind of look-alike to an MP7 without having to drop $2,000 to $3,000 or whatever you might need to get an actual one. So our base gun here is a CP33 from Keltec. It's just a 22 long rifle, and then we've got some extra components here that we're gonna toss in. So FarrowTech makes a conversion kit. We're using a Somo Gear PEC just because we want to use the poor man's, the budget build. A GBRS Hydra that probably didn't come from GBRS. And then we have some other just all the accessories that came in this kit. And then we've even got some mag extensions to make these magazines look like MP7 mags. And we'll be doing all of it with some of our Wheeler kit and our fix-it sticks. So you'll see a bunch of that mixed in. And then we have a real EOTech. So that's probably the most valuable thing here on the table. Altogether, if you're just doing this base conversion, the CP33 and the FarrowTech conversion, you're looking at right around $600. So that's a pretty fair run for that right there. And then obviously the Somo Gear's 400-ish for the potted one, EOTech's 500 or so, and this is who knows how much. Not that much. But base kit run you about $600, so that saves you a lot of money, and then it's 22 long rifle, so it's actually cheap to shoot right now, despite all the other ammo issues. So let's hop right in. We're not going to show you literally everything here just because who knows how long it's going to take. It does not come with a manual. I assume it's online. We're going to do this without the manual because we're men and we don't want to read. So let's see what we get into, and you'll see some of the highlights, and we'll kind of breeze through some of this assembly. All right, so now that we got our halves separated, we can take the charging handle here. We're going to pull that little bolt section out, get rid of this Keltec one, and we'll replace it with this nice fancy MP7 looking one that has the locking tabs on it. All right, rear side is out. This little annoying pin is out, and now I can drop it into the chassis here. Look at that, it fits. And on the sides, you can see these different screw holes, so we can go ahead and put those in there now. And they do send a nice replacement set. These will fit a little bit nicer and look a little bit cleaner on there. We're going to use those. I'll move some of these things out of the way here. This is the old charging handle that came with the CP33, and this is the new one, and you can see we have an actual locking mechanism here, and you want to do that on top of this stock here. It's a little bit tight, but there it locks in. And now we'll put that bolt in there. They give you this nice little MP7 style folding grip, so we'll attach that here in a minute. That'll go on the bottom here, and then you can fold out your little foregrip, and it locks in place nicely there. So I'm going to put in here, I do appreciate that they sent us the Allen keys and the little Torx bit that we need. You find two included Torx bits. Looks like they go into here. No of the other screws that we already had or in the kit are fitting in there. But these are going in there nice and snug, and they are tapered to fit that slot, so I'm pretty sure this is the right stuff. All right, so it looks like we're going to set this piece in here first. It's all nice and lined up. I will have to cock the hammer, so it's going to be a little bit sticky. All right, so this looks like it's the last piece that goes on here. We did have some issue with this front screw getting stripped off of the receiver. So this little washer actually rotated inside of this nut, and I was not applying any type of considerable force. So keep that in mind. Looks like this is a little bit of a lighter weight screw setup. So I'm going to put this in again and try not to mess up that nut. All right, so now we have that piece attached in the bottom. So we've got our MP7 look here now. And we'll try out this bolt rack here. So that's nice, that works. And our safety works going up and down. Safety holds. And safety fires. So our functions check works. This is still a little sticky, like I was saying. I think that's going to need some time to break in. Trigger works. And safety still works. Yep. And then we've got our little folding piece here. So if you want to fold this out, just pull that down. And when you want to set it back, pull this down and lock up. Now we can start working on getting some of our optics set up here. And we'll try some of those little features out. All right, so up first on our little optics setup here, now that we've got this all together, is going to be this semi-hydro mount. Looks like one. It even has some labels like one. I don't think it's one. Although, to be fair, it feels like any other machined piece of aluminum. I'm not really seeing any dramatic difference. You want to be careful about how tight you make these screws on here, since this is a 3D printed housing. So you can't tighten this down to 1 billion ugga-duggas like you might on a aluminum rail. So just keep that in mind. You don't want to over-tighten these and then be stuck with a messed up piece. And as a short disclaimer, if you are going to make a version of this, the FarrowTech Conversion, with a stock like this one is, you're going to do the Form 1 paperwork for it, since that is now considered some type of SBR system. If you're going to do the pistol brace version, you won't have to do any special forms with that. Obviously, you need to check your own local jurisdictions and special rules in your specific area. As far as our area, that's all we have to do for ours. All right, now we're working on the right side. All right, now we have an EOTech that I can see a dot through. It is on, and I have my PEC mounted up there. Let's get this little button mounted. And we're gonna assume, shooting it from here, I'm probably gonna want that button to be out front, because this is gonna be the easiest place for me to activate it. So using the knockoff Hydra mount, I'm gonna go ahead and route that through that hole we've got there. And I'm gonna choose to run this button where the cord comes off. This is the Somo Gear one, so it's not a real mod light mod button. I'm gonna run it off of the right-hand side of the gun, because as a right-handed person, my left hand is gonna be on the gun here, so I don't wanna have any weird cords as I'm holding onto the gun. So this will keep them out of my way. You may choose to do something entirely different. I don't have any zip ties or cords, cord management stuff here, so we're not gonna mess with that, but might be worth putting some type of attachment to keep this nice and tight to the receiver and the rail space here, since it will be hanging off. And now, as you can see, we have our MP7 at home with our EOTech, our knockoff PEC, and we've got this little stock here in the back. This is still tight. I think before we take it out anywhere, we're going to oil it up. The button just has to be pushed perfectly to get it to unlock. So if you don't hit them just perfect, it won't go. But now I've got our button set up. All of our optics and stuff are ready to go. And last but not least, these don't look like MP7 mags. They're kind of weird, sitting at the bottom. They're really short. So there is a conversion for that as well. And FarrowTech made this little extension piece, so you can take your stock MP7 mags, slide that on, and this now becomes your base plate. So when you stick this on here, you now have a little bit better, more authentic MP7 look going on there. If you're gonna finish out this build, maybe you'd change out this grip, maybe just put some grip tape on it, or maybe that like camo tape, something like that to kind of break up the Keltec hand grenade looking grip that's on there. But otherwise, we've got a pretty nice MP7 looking build here. We've got our collapsing stock with our multiple locking positions, so you can settle that power you want. Ambi safety with the nice wide levers, have the texturing on them, and then we've got our little folding grip up front here. And we still maintained our threaded barrel and easy, cheap magazines, things like that, as opposed to $90 mags or whatever MP7 mag cost. So check that out. That's a FarrowTech conversion kit for the MP7. They have the brace and the stock version. Again, if you're going with the stock one, you have to do the Form 1 setup. So just keep that in mind. Turnaround time's real fast on that, but it's an extra step. So as far as the build goes, we got to use our fix-it sticks and some punch kit. FarrowTech did send the majority of the components that you needed to get the work done. A couple Allen screws, Allen keys, good grief. All the screws we needed to replace, and then the T-bit and things like that. We did have to use some of our own tools, but just minimally. So up next, we'll take this out to the range. We'll see how it shoots. We'll get some feedback, and we'll let you know what we think about it after shooting on the range. All right, so we're back from the range now, and it didn't go as I think we were hoping it to. So Keltec, doing what Keltec does, the gun really didn't fire that well. The magazines were great. They held plenty of ammunition, which was nice, but it took us forever to get through a single magazine because the gun's not going off every time we pull the trigger. So I know you're not supposed to dry fire, rim fire, but it can't really get any worse than this. First off, this is still sticky. So cocking the hammer is extremely tight on this gun, which is unusual. I think the hammer is probably like 5 times the weight of an AR-15 hammer. It's been that way since before we did this kit. So that might be part of the problem, I'm not sure. But let's go ahead and see. We'll just go ahead and we're clear, no mag in. If I pull the trigger here, nothing. There it went. Pull the trigger again, nothing. And so it's been doing this. I'll take out some of the slack in the trigger, and then the gun will go off. So press, nothing. Release, now there's pressure on the trigger. The weirdest thing ever, at one point the entire gun was down, it wouldn't go off at all. We were squeezing the trigger as hard as we could without any progress. We did check the safety levers. We removed the safety levers and reinstalled the stock ones and the new ones. We've taken the lower off the upper half. We can't find any weird binding anywhere. It's just very unusual. It looks great. It looks super cool. The EOTech worked great. The suppressor worked great. It was very quiet when it shot. But unfortunately, not having your trigger go off when you're pulling it is kind of not fun. Especially when this is so difficult to rack. So it's fun, but I think there needs to be some additional work. Maybe it's just our Keltec that's inside of here. Maybe there's something else going on. I highly doubt it was the kit that would cause that. There's no reason for the kit to interfere with any of the fire control components. But that's something we experienced. So it was cool. It was fun to shoot. It was nice. It was cheap 22, not 70 cents a round for the 4.7 or whatever instead. But just bear in mind, make sure you have a reliable Keltec before you go spend the money on the kit and EOTechs and things like that. Make sure your Keltec is reliable first. So again, it looks cool. It's fun. It's definitely cheaper than an MP7. But maybe there's a reason that you pay up for a real MP7 instead of a kit like this. So we had fun building it. We had fun trying to figure it out of the range, but unfortunately it's probably just going to sit in a safe now and not really go anywhere. If we end up fixing it, then maybe that'll change, but for now it's just kind of a fun toy to bring out. So thanks for checking out our build series on this. Maybe if you've got one, let us know in the comments if yours is reliable. We're trying to figure out why ours isn't. But either way, it's a fun piece and it's definitely cheaper than a real MP7. So thanks for watching the video and we'll catch you on the range.